When the Minnesota Vikings hired head coach Kevin O'Connell, they made a statement that, hey, we are getting into the young, offensive-minded collaboration with everyone head coach Wunderkind. He just won a Super Bowl with Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams. Sean McVay, a.k.a. Ed Sheeran, and he is the next guy. And also in that Super Bowl, Sean McVay beat one of his former quarterbacks coaches in Zach Taylor. It's like, oh, that worked out pretty well. And the Vikings, they got their guy. He's worked with Kirk Cousins before. And also, look at him. Like we said, he looks like a young Bunk Grant. I love it. I love it. And at only 37 years young, 36 when the Vikings hired him, they figured that he was going to be good for a long time. Maybe he's going to be in purple for decades. I'd love to see it. And The Athletic recognized him as one of the young up-and-coming movers and shakers in the league. They did up an NFL Top 40, the top young coaches, execs, agents, and other rising stars, yada yada, put together by the great Lindsey Jones. And it's a fun list. There's 5 head coaches on the list: McVay, Staley, Brandon Staley, head coach of the Chargers, Mike McD of the Dolphins, Zach Taylor, head coach of the Bengals, as well as Kevin O'Connell here with the Vikings. Also, what's interesting is that 4 of them were from the same coaching tree. You had McVay, Brandon Staley was the DC with the Rams before jumping to the Chargers. Zach Taylor, of course, like we mentioned, was QB coach with the Rams before taking over the Bengals. And then, of course, you got O'Connell. Mike McDaniel is from the Kubiak Shanahan tree. Nailed it. There you go. But also, so what sort of gets me about these lists, where you see it on for NFL with The Athletic, or you see it on Forbes, or see it on Food and Wine magazine, where there's a lot of back scratching going on, quid pro quo going on, where if you put a exec or especially an agent on one of these lists, and all of a sudden you're looking for some scoops, you're looking for some inside information on a story you're working on, you're looking for some hot inside info. Yeah, just a little bit. But again, that's whatever there. Also, it's this is what they wrote about Kevin O'Connell. So, O'Connell spent the past 2 seasons as Sean McVay's OC, working closely last year with quarterback Matthew Stafford, and parlayed the Rams' success into his first head coaching job. But even when O'Connell was a backup quarterback from 2008 to 2011 with the Patriots and the Jets, he was preparing for an eventual career in coaching. That opportunity first came in 2015 as QB coach in Cleveland, followed by 1 season as an assistant in San Francisco. A QB coach in Cleveland under then Browns head coach Mike Pettin, who's now senior defensive consultant or whatever the hell his role is. And then 1 year in San Francisco, at the same time that Kwesi was there, man. He spent 3 years in Washington, where he was quarterbacks coach as well as OC, where he also overlapped with Kirk Cousins in 2017. Now O'Connell and Cousins are reunited, and it feels so good here in Minnesota, and it'll be intriguing to see them work together at different stages of their careers. O'Connell will call plays for Cousins, which he did not do for Stafford. But of course, the Rams, they got things together, and Kevin O'Connell worked very much hand in glove with Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay and Wes Phillips, and they put together that damn offense, and they're going to be good to go, man. And I love Kevin O'Connell. I do, because I do believe in the new age, modern, everything is a collaboration. Even though the buck stops with Kevin O'Connell, he wants to hear all sides, and this isn't just a my way or the highway. This is a collaborative effort, and I feel like Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell are on the same page. We found out that's very important for a head coach and a GM, and I do think that he is going to be that leader that's going to take the Vikings to the promised land. I truly believe that, especially since they're taking over a team that is loaded with talent. Even though the national media Jerome haircuts are treating them like slappies, whatever. I think the Vikings, they greatly underachieved last year, going 8-9, and also you kept your veteran core intact. You supplemented with some nice free agents and draftees, and I think that this team has a chance to be one of the surprise teams of 2022. They go from 8-9 to 13-4, wanting some more, win the division, making some noise in the playoffs, maybe hoisting that Jerome Barty one time, un timeo. I think that this could be in line for a quick turnaround, because it's not like the Bengals and Zach Taylor, where they were asked for a couple of years and then all of a sudden they had a Super Bowl season out of nowhere. I don't even think it's going to be that. I think that the Vikings will be competitive right out of the gate. I think that they are near locked to have double-digit wins this season, and O'Connell is going to be that guy, man. He's rightfully going to get a lot of that credit, especially when that offense just takes flight and becomes one of the premier offenses in the National Football League. The defense will be perfectly fine under Ed Donatel. Ed Donatel did not make the 40 under 40 list, by the way. And also there was Ryan Poles made the list, the Bears GM, who was in the running for the Vikings spot. But before I say Kwesi got snubbed, apparently Kwesi doesn't count because he's 40 or 41. Whatever. But again, it's nice that the national media takes a look at some of our guys and actually gives a little bit of credit, but I ain't worried about that. Again, I'm happy because I would have been happy if they would have hired Dan Quinn, if they would have hired D'Amico Ryans, if they even would have hired Harbaugh, right? But I think eventually they got it right. Like, the coaching search took a long-ass time, but I think the Vikings did get it right with Kevin O'Connell. I think they got it right with Kwesi adofo-mensah, and now hopefully they'll get it right with this roster because this has a chance to be a very, very special season. But your thoughts are thoughts. Kevin O'Connell made the Athletics 40 under 40 list. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.